everybody, it's Gaming with the Guys. We are back after quite a bit of hiatus, and we're joined tonight by our good friend, Dr. Dice. The doctor's in-house tonight for something special, so we're not going to be doing Bushido. We're not going to have me chatting about something that no one wants to hear about anyway. Tonight... About 40K. Oh, and Gaming Jason's in the house also. But he's in the background because he's all grungy. Well, I'm grungy. Anyway, it's grunge. So, Dr. Dice, what are you bringing us today? What is special?
Well, my friend, Corvus Belli.
Corvus Belli.
The makers of Infinity, Aristea.
Aristea.
Right. They offered me the opportunity to purchase a Warcrow Winds from the North 2-player starter box for their new game, Warcrow. They offered me the opportunity right before Gen Con first release, and I said, sure, I'll do that thing. So boom, we are right here, kids.
We're bringing you Warcrow tonight. So not only are we going to do Warcrow, we'll try to walk through gameplay with you a little bit, but we are going through scenario number 1 in the 2-player starter set. So we will talk a little bit about the adventure that's going to be taking place as we fight out some battles in Lindworm. The opponents today are going to be the... I'll let you say it because I always screw the hedge...
The hegemony of Embersig!
The hedge fund people.
Yes, the hedge fund... Yeah, it's Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs versus
the orcs.
The orcs.
And now, so one thing about this game, if you're going to get into it at all, just keep in mind there's 2 different flavors of orc. And actually, what's really cool about the factions here, and this is a spoiler, most of the factions have a couple of different flavors of how they play. Mm-hmm. The orcs have 2 different flavors that we know of. One is the actual orc itself.
Orc.
The other is the
Varnak.
And the Varnak, and everything in this game has like a weird Eastern European kind of name to it. The Varnak, the Varnak are shapeshifters. So they're elves, but they're kind of orcs, but they're kind of bluish, and they whatever you're. So there's a special fig that can also be purchased along with the starter set. And that is the polar bear.
Yes.
And I don't even remember what his name is. It's something, but he's just this giant bear dude, very cool, and he can actually work with the normal orcs as well as his own flavor of orc. And the orc leader from this set can also work with that set as well.
With the Varniks.
With the Varniks, so it kind of lets you do it. And as we kind of play through the game, and after we get done with the game for the wrap-up, maybe we'll talk a little bit about how you purchase this game beyond the actual starter set, what we know about that.
Yeah. And just to let you know, we've kind of gone through and played this scenario at least twice before this, so hopefully we got most of the kinks out. We got some of the we got the rules down set. I will tell you, it did take us a bit to figure the rules out, to just kind of go through and everything, and watching some of the gameplay videos and so on and so forth. So hopefully watching this will give you a better sense of how things play, in addition to being able to see what the first scenario. And again, this isn't a scenario from the book. So in the book, it's, you can build however you want to build. This is more of their narrative scenario from the 2-player starter set. So we will be restricted on the units that we can use in this first scenario. So normally we talk over the list and whatnot. We'll see about throwing some of that stuff up. Otherwise, we will get right into the gameplay, so we could talk more about everything else after the match. And if you haven't done so already, you know you like Warcrow, you like Bushido, you like all the things we do, so why don't you give us that thumbs up? That lets us know that we're on the right track. And while you're at it, subscribe. It's such an easy thing to do, but it helps us in the channel. I just hit that microphone really hard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Helps us in the channel out. Helps us in the channel out immensely. So if you could do both of those things, we would greatly appreciate it.
You know what else helps? Comments. If they comment and they say, that Dr. Dice is obnoxious, don't have him on your channel anymore, something like that, that would actually...
good feedback. That's good. That helps us.
It does. But it also really, it pumps it up. This is all algorithm. The whole world's algorithm, right? And right now, my algorithm is about playing this game.
There we go. We're looking forward to playing this, and we're hopefully going to be getting this a little more often. And so we hope you enjoy it. Hang around. We'll be back in just a second.
Ensign Gilligrick sent an advance party, made up of soldiers called from the Black Legion, to inspect the terrain and find a place to bed down for the night. The path of the Spider is as inhospitable as its reputation claimed it would be, and a blizzard looms on the horizon. The hegemony, as always, will be prepared for any potential setbacks. The reconnaissance mission has taken the detachment to an abandoned farm. It seems like a good place to set up camp, until the war surgeon notices that there is something amiss in the middle of the farm. A highly suspicious object rests on a pile of stones, which looks to be a broken vase. Suddenly, it begins to flash intermittently. This flickering arouses the suspicions and natural skepticism of the hegemons. Just as they are about to send a message to Ensign Gilligrick to inform him of this oddity, the soldiers hear the sound of footsteps in the snow. To their surprise, they discover that they are not alone. Off in the distance, a group of orcs can be seen approaching towards them, and they are getting dangerously close. Although still surprised by the presence of the arcane object, the bucklermen are not intimidated and draw their swords. They hold their ground as the voice of their superior commands. "Don't be alarmed, soldiers!" A band of orcs trundle along the path of the Spider, under the command of their Wrathmane. They're scrounging for food and materials that may be of use to them. Despite the biting snow and cold, they move without difficulty. The North has tempered their skin and bones against such elements, and this is nothing more than a stroll for them. However, they remain alert, attentive to any sign of movement in their vicinity. The spirits are weaving a storm. Its heartbeats resonate throughout the forest. The ground is shaking. The trees are quivering. This is no ordinary storm. The Wisemane stops the hunters upon spotting an abandoned farm. He raises his head, sniffs the air, and grunts, "It smells like human iron!" The hunters roar at the thought of an upcoming fracas. They advance decisively, taking a good position in front of the farm where, indeed, they spy their opponents. The heartbeats of the storm increase their intensity by the moment. There, in the center of the farm, is the catalyst for the blizzard. It is a broken vase, thrown on a pile of stones, which suddenly begins to glimmer. The heart of winter is about to burst. The orc hunters unleash their fearsome battle cries. They have no intention of leaving this place empty-handed.
So here we are, doing the first scenario of Warcrow. So one of the things that we did, this scenario is, again, the first one. It's the first of the narrative in the starter box. Basically, the orcs have come down from the mountains, and they're investigating something that's happening, and the hegemony are also in the area, and they are investigating some weird activity happening at this little ranch, and also to fight back the forces of the orcs. Couple things. So for my units, I have the non-named leader, the Wrathmane. That would be this gentleman right here. I have his second in command, the Wisemane. He's got the big club. And then I have a unit of orc hunters. This is going to be the unit leader. He's got the tusks on his back. And then he's joined by 3 other orc hunters. So that's my main force. Again, the scenario stipulates the units that you could have. One of the things you have to remember, you can have people in your units, you can have different units join up to your unit of hunters, except the scenario stipulates that no one with the high command keyword, which the Wrathmane has, cannot join that unit. And in Eric's case, what do you have, Eric?
All right, I have the Hetman, who is this guy here with the cloak, and his deal is he's like the leader. He's got the high command ability. Mm-hmm. I've got the unit of bucklermen, and then I have a plague surgeon. Sorry, war surgeon.
War surgeon.
War surgeon. Well, he's got the plague doctor mask, and I'm playing a lot of Nurgle lately. So anyway, he is the war surgeon. He's my healer, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the cool things about the way that this game is going to work is that if you haven't watched any of the other videos about how to play this game, we'll kind of talk through the dice and how we use the dice as we go for what's called switches during combat, which is basically just activated abilities based on the die. However, the scenarios will call out how many turns a round is and how many rounds are in the game. So in this particular scenario, we're going to have a total of 3 turns, and I'm sorry, 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
3 rounds.
So
And each round is 2 turns.
1, 2. So we will have a maximum of 6 turns
Yep.
for this game.
It is not, I activate all of my stuff on my turn. It is on my turn, I will activate one of my units. On his turn, he will activate one of his units. We then advance the time marker, but if there are any event tokens or anything that is in those spots, before we go on, we're going to resolve that. So this scenario does have an event, and that event is dictated as, it's a snow event. Basically, there's a blizzard.
You're giving it away.
Oh my God, I'm giving it away. All right, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, spoiler alert. There's blizzard.
So a couple things to remember when you're activating units really quickly.
Yeah.
When you activate a unit, you'll give that a command. You move it twice, you get 2 activations. You're also going to notice that movement is split in 2. So if you're familiar with Infinity, you're familiar with the split movement, which would be, I have a 3-2. So for my Wrathmane, he has a movement of 3-2. So that means he can move 3 steps. Now the other thing is, it's very interesting how we do movement. We go 3, front of the base, and then we move the back of the base forward of that.
If you played X-Wing,
Oops, that was 4. So
it's very Pathfinder system-y if you played X-Wing or something like that.
you will always be going, and then I can move another 2. So that would be my first activation. If I wanted to go again and move again, then I could do 3, and then another 2, and I can move, and then that would finish my activation. Now, when it comes back around to me on turn 2 to activate a model, then what I would do is I could choose another unit, like the Wisemane or the Orc Hunters, to activate, or I could choose to activate the Wrathmane again before the end of the round, but I will gain a stress. If I have too much stress, bad things happen. We'll get into that as we start playing.
Yep.
So that's kind of the basic mechanic of how things move and whatnot. We've already started. I'm going to move this out of the way. We've already kind of laid out deployment. To do deployment, everybody rolls initiative. You add your command value, which is noted by the different tokens on your leader. In this case, I have 2 command tokens. The Hetman has 3. So we both roll then an orange and a yellow die and count the number of solid stars and then add in our command. I rolled 1 solid star, Eric rolled 1 solid star. However, his command was higher, so he won initiative. I set up first, he set up second. So now we will begin turn 1. All right?
Time to dance.
Get it on.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh.
No.
Oh, we're going to...
Ooh, I got 2.
I got 1, so we are tied.
We are tied.
Now, I don't know...
I think for the first one we just roll it again because...
We could.
So let's say I had won it. I had won the initiative for this turn. Then I would take my turn, and let's say next round when we roll initiative, we tied. Mm-hmm. Because I won initiative and I had it for turn 1, for round 1, then you would automatically win it. It would pass over to you.
Sure.
Since it's the first turn.
Do you roll it every turn? I don't think you roll it every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I think you just passed. Oh, I thought it passed.
I got 1.
I got nothing.
I got 3. We're tied again. I got 1.
All right.
So you know what? We're just...
You can have it.
I'm gonna have it.
You can have it.
I'm gonna have it. All right.
That's.
Makes sense. My orcs are aggressive. They're angry.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I'm willing to bet that there is a in case of tie thing where it's probably just like.
It's a good thing we have the rule book. All right.
Yeah.
So I am going to have.
And it is a very lovely rule book. 300 pages of fluff. Like, this is the rules. This is the fluff.
All right. I'm going to have the orc. I'm going to have my Orc Hunters activate. So I'm going to have this whole unit activate. So when I activate a unit, I take the leader of the unit and I move him. So I'm going to use the leader of my of the unit. I have a 3-2 movement value, so I got to go to 3. Again, you move in straight lines, but when you do your first movement, and then after that, you could switch to a different movement. The red points are military points or scenarios. If you are within, if you're within 3, if a member of your unit is within 3 of that, and there are no other units around there to contest it, we'll get into it a little bit because we're probably going to be fighting over that one there.
Hey, Gaming Greg.
Yes, sir.
I did something wrong.
What do we do wrong?
So the player that has the most command, they just get an extra orange die.
Oh.
It's not like you don't add your command value. You just get an extra orange die. And then it's whoever rolls the most stars. I think yeah, totally. But I think what would happen is it's going to come off where it's not going to be that tie rolling thing.
Right.
Because some of our viewers might be like, wow, that's rough. It's not intended. Basically,
so
it would normally just be...
the total number of solid stars, except in this case, because he had more command than I do, he gets an extra orange die.
Right. And I still would have just rolled 1, and who cares?
So now I've moved my leader. Now I could place any of the other members of that unit within two of the leader.
Yep. So unit coherency, that's how unit coherency works too. You've got to be able to see your leader, so it's line of sight to your leader.
And there's no arcs, so you have 360 viewing.
Yep, and you got to be within 2 strides of your leader. They call these strides, right? I think it's a stride is defined as about 15 mil.
No, I think it's not quite, but I think maybe you're right.
Because I think it's a 30 mil base.
So that was my first. That was my first activation. Now my second activation for my second action with this unit. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna move him 3.
So you're doing a double move.
I'm gonna do 2. Actually, I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna have yoink, yoink, and yoink. Actually.
All right. So a decision was made. He's going to just charge up the board and go for that second objective. Good place to be. Mm-hmm. And he knows that in the future, that second objective is going to do something good for future scenarios. So he's kind of... Plus, I get it every single time we play this, so he's done with that nonsense.
So I want to get all of it.
Yep.
I want it all. So now that would finish my activation, because I've taken both of my actions with that unit. I've moved them twice. Mm-hmm. They are in position, and I put an activation token on my card to remind myself that I've used them, and then the play goes over to Eric for his activation for turn 1 of round 1.
Turn numero uno. All right, I am actually going to go with the Hetman.
Ooh.
Yeah, you didn't expect that one, did you? So the Hetman is going to go. He's going to move 2. And then he's going to move 3.
So it does make a difference that, you may not think having these steps is that big of a deal, moving 2, moving 3. It really does, because you are moving in a straight line when you go, so you can't just do your, wavy or curve around something. You have to go straight and then straight. So if you're restricted on your first move to only move 2, you might not get clear of a certain objective and then have to go 3 straight again to finish the movement. Whereas if I go 3, I'm clearing, and then I can go 2 around something. So it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. So,
yeah.
All right.
And again, it's all lines. There's no bending tape measures, none of that kind of stuff, right? So it's gonna be good. All right. Well, that was my first action, was a move. Second action is to shoot. Now,
range attack.
The way a range attack works is I'm measuring line of sight from the leader of my unit, which in this case it's just the one guy, to any member of his unit. In order to see the unit, I've got to have more than 50% of them available to see. If I can't see 50% of them, I can't see the unit. So if 50% were hiding behind this building, you got 2 guys behind the building, you got 2 guys over here. Well, say 3 and 1.
3 and 1.
Because I'm not sure. Yeah, 3 and 1, I can't see that unit. That one guy is there, but he's kind of not. He's taking a leak on the side of the building, but he sees you with the gun. He just runs back in. Probably, terrible things happen. Anyway, so I am shooting. Now, we do have a low fence, right? And the low fence is going to give you a little bit of cover, all right?
From within a certain distance to it, or just when it passes over?
The way it is going to work is a fence or barricade will give you a black die of cover, provided, let's see here.
We're learning as we go.
Units adjacent to this terrain feature can benefit from cover. Oh, you don't get it.
I'm not adjacent.
No, you don't get it. I'm just going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you last action.
Adjacent would be if I forget if it's a distance, but they define what adjacent is. Here, let me have that, and you do your shooting.
Sure. So the Hetman, on his range attack, he gets an orange die.
Excellent.
I also get to add a automatic success.
And I will get to roll defense against that?
Indeed. Excellent. What is your defense stat?
My defense, without any good any good bonuses. So for the Orc Hunters, my defense is a green die and 2 black dice. And then I do have if I get any solids, I get to do a hit, but I don't think that's going to work against a...
Nah, they're not Jedi.
Yeah.
They're not Jedi. They're just stupid orcs.
They should be. All right, here we go.
You have got a hit coming your way.
Yes, I got 2 hits because you
Two,
automatic.
yes.
I rolled a whole boatload, and this has been happening when we played this with these forces all the time, is I can't roll a solid shield to save my life. I have 3 solid exclamation points, which do nothing for me, so I can't use them for a switch because I don't have a switch available on the Orc Hunters.
Hey, Gaming Greg, what are switches?
Switches are when you roll, you have a symbol that you could use and you could exchange it before you tally damage and things like that, exchange it for a special ability. In this case, my switch is if I would have rolled a shield, I could add a solid star, which would be a hit to my roll.
But it spends that shield. So
it spends the shield,
what
and then I can't use it for defense later, or I can't use it to hit later.
Yeah, orcs are super offensive.
Yes.
So you have taken 2 wounds.
Which now I only have. Orc Hunters have 2 wounds apiece, so one of my Orc Hunters is now deceased.
Yep.
All right.
Had he taken just 1 wound, he would have taken a 1 wound token and put it on his card, and then the next guy would have done that. So there's no stress.
There's no stress from being shot?
No stress from being shot. You just got shot, and that's just, it's... Now, in Blood and Plunder, different story. We'll do that game later.
Let's not get confused.
No,
So
we'll do that game later.
We don't have to worry about that right now. So I don't get stressed right now, but typically if I take damage from an attack, I get stressed, but that's usually from a melee attack.
Right.
All right. So... all right. They don't have a nice little thing which will tell me what adjacent is and what everything else is, but we'll look at that later. So, that is the end of your activation, correct, sir?
Mm-hmm.
That will be the end of turn 1, round 1,
yep.
Which means...
A furious wind whips through the farm and the snowfall is steadily getting worse. The decrepit structures threaten to be carried off by the gales. The storm screams and howls as if it truly had a voice of its own. It is evident that this is not a mere meteorological phenomenon. The air is filled with the scent of magic, and a cloud of flashing vermilion sweeps over the farm. Blazing eyes seem to dwell in the swirls of snow. It is blood-curdling.
We have an event.
And
the event is a snowstorm comes barreling down off the northern mountains and affects everyone on the battlefield. What that means is we now have to, for each unit, roll their willpower and at least get 1 success. If we get 1 success, there's no effect. The snowstorm doesn't have any effect on us. If we fail, we will get a slow token. And the slow token means the next time that we take a movement, we only take
the first
number of the movement, and then it goes away.
I believe it actually even lasts for the
whole activation.
So if you decide to do a double move, you only get that first number twice.
There we go. All right. So as I won initiative, I'm going to start with my Orc Hunters. Their willpower is 1 orange die. I'm just checking to see if I have anything else. No. And no. All right. So I have no other bonuses that I could do this. So I'm going to roll the orange die. I'm hoping to get... I do not, so these dudes will get a frozen token. Now you get to roll one of your guys.
All right, I'm going to start with the Hetman.
That makes sense.
And the Hetman has a really cool little ability, which he's okay, star.
Very good.
And his cool little ability is that all allied units within 20 strides may use your willpower instead of theirs. 20 strides is the length of this ruler. Yeah, he's got a bunch of...
All right, so I'm going to have my Wrathbane go now.
Uh-huh.
So this gentleman over here. He is slow.
Oh, no.
I see where this is going.
The surgeon, I'm not going to tell you what kind of surgeon, just a surgeon. He's fine.
He's fine. And then last but not least, I have my Wisemane.
Oh.
Took too many dice there. And I get 1. So the Wisemane is not affected by the cold winds.
All right. And then my Bucklermen. They are, in fact, affected. So, so the one unit I kind of really needed, they said, nah, we're not doing this today.
All right. So then, I'm going to bring this back out real quick. Then we would move to turn 2 of round 1. And I get to activate because I have the initiative. All right, here we go. So, I will have, flipping through things here. There is a lot of lore in this in this book.
You know what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to try to put together a really nice quick reference sheet that could be that we can link to in the video. Maybe I'll put it like on my Google Drive.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see something. All right, so I'm going to activate the wise man because he could actually move.
He's so wise.
He is so wise.
So wise.
They didn't tell me anything. I'm trying to look for initiative. Here, I'll give it to you.
Oh, sure.
This is probably just going to be a move. All right. So, I'm going to start with the wise man. He is right here. I'm going to... His movement is a 2-3, so I'm going to go 2. And then we're going to go 3 for his first. Then... I'm going to do a 2 and 3.
Do you know a unit is adjacent to a terrain element if its troop leader's base is in contact with the element's base?
That's very important.
Yeah. So it's not a distance. It's just be right next to it.
So again, these are considered short actions. There's short actions and long actions. We'll get into that a little more as they come up because I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening soon. So that is the second activation for the wise man. He is there. He could do a couple different things next turn or next round. If I decide to activate him first, he could join with the Orc Hunter unit. He could just go and do his own thing. We'll figure out what he's going to do. All right, so now it is Eric's activation for turn 2, round 1.
Now let's see. I could stress my boss to take another shot at those guys, and to be very honest, that seems like a fun thing to do because whittling them down prevents any kind of shenaniganery. So you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. So I am going to go again. Now, if you already have an activation token on you, you will gain a stress at the end of the activation. It's important that it happens at the end of the activation because there are things you can do during your activation to cause yourself some stress. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot 1 orange die. Same target. I got 2 hits.
I got 1 defense.
So one guy will take 1 damage.
We'll just put 1 wound marker on the Orc Hunter card. As soon as I get a second wound marker, then I will remove a figure. All right.
And since you cannot shoot twice, move is the only action you can take twice. And I'm not going to be charging because that would be a long action. That would be a long action. And for those of you who are wondering, can you move into combat? Yes, it's called an assault, and you actually.
But again, assault action is also a long.
Also a long action. The hetman will then move backwards in a cowardly fashion because why am I using that one?
I don't know.
No. All right. So, yeah, and then 3.
There we go.
Actually, I'll move back over this way. I just want to make sure that I've got a nice and there we go.
All right. So at the end of the round, I end up controlling that marker.
You do.
I control that because I don't have anybody within 3, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you get that one. And I'm going to get this one.
I do have this guy. He can catch that one next.
Yep, so I'll get that one there. All right.
All right.
And
we remove. Now, also at the end of the round, if you have taken an action, if you have not taken, we're not quite done yet.
Not quite done yet.
So actually, probably, I might be able to control this in a second, because I don't know if we check for control of that now or after we do our catch-up phase. So the wonderful thing about this is, you notice we've only moved two units, but we have 3 units available. At the end of a round, any unit that has not taken action can do one of 2 things. It can rest, in which case it gets rid of stress, or it can move, a catch-up move. In this case, since I don't have any stress, I'm going to move my Wrathmane. Now, he is frozen.
Yep.
So, but I'll at least get rid of that for the beginning of next round, which is probably going to be in my favor. So he moves only 3.
Well, you're actually going to hate this.
Oh, I keep it.
It doesn't count as his activation.
All right, and I move 3, and I move 3. I keep that, but I am within 3 of that. So that will allow me to...
Well, you only get the one move. Right? So you'll get the first
one.
one.
Both of them.
You get both the 2 and the 3, right? Or the 3 and the 3, right? But you're slowed, so you wouldn't get your second 3. That's the way that this works.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. I will move that back. I thought when we did it, we discovered that you actually move twice. You'd take both actions.
It's I'll read that there.
Yep.
Anyone, whoever has the initiative must decide who performs the step first. All units on the battlefield that do not have an activation token on their profile can perform the move action once.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for the clarification. Then you can do your
and
2 units
so
that move action once.
They will have their move action once, which is going to be my 3. Oh, wait. I measure only from the unit leader.
From the unit leader.
I almost botched that.
You almost Mr. Bungles that.
Botch-toe.
Domo Omi Bacho, Mr. Roboto. That didn't make any sense.
No, I'm going to actually go back this way because I'm a big jerk. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go, and they still have that. And then this guy actually, because he's not slow, he can really haul butt if he chooses to do so.
But he won't.
Actually,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right there. I think that's as far as he needs to go. He does have a melee attack, but it's really not very good. He also had an ability that during the no one gets left behind step, which is right now, the allied units that are within 5 strides at any moment can heal 1. So he actually heals you on the fly, but nobody is currently hurt, so I don't have to worry about that. And then last but not least, so actually we did just one step out of order. It's get your victory points first.
Okay.
Reduce stress.
Reduce stress.
So you reduce the stress on the units that have activated by 1, and units that
have not
activated, you can reduce it by 2. So there we go. And then at the very end of the no one gets left behind, we remove our activation counter, and then we begin this whole shenaniganery again. The initiative token passes to the player who did not have it. All
right, and then that would then advance us into round 2. So we are going to take a quick break. So we'll go to turn 3 of round 2. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back in just a second for more. All right, we are back. We had to, not only did we have to do a few other things, but we had to swap batteries. So, round 2, turn 3. I still retain initiative. What we learned is initiative only changes hands if there's a difference in victory points. And since neither of us are losing.
Except for.
Usually,
it's whoever has fewer victory points gets it. But if you had it, and we're still tied, then it does change hands.
All right.
So it goes to the player that didn't have it. So I'm going to get it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Switches. So it automatically switches to you.
It's going to switch to me.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So now I have a choice. Do I want to move these guys, or do I want to just keep sitting around here playing games? And honestly, moving them is a really good idea. And so now I have to look at my charge distance, right? So the way that the charge distance will work is I will move in a straight line.
Well, let's quick go over this. So again, when we showed the stats, you had the move, it had the 2 and the dash and the 3, and that's how much you would move. When you charge, there's a third stat underneath move. It's in brackets, and that's your move distance, but it must be in a straight line. And it is definitely longer than what you normally move. So normally you would be able to move a 5 and a 3, 10. For my wise main, for example, I could do that. Well, I could move 5 inches once, or I could take a long action and charge in a straight line 9 inches, and then be able to do an attack at the end of it. Sorry. All right.
So, because I've got the slowed condition on me, because of that stupid snow, I'm 4 strides fewer to my charge. My charge is a 9, which means I would be moving a 5. I get to move this. That does not put me in base-to-base with any of his dudes. So
now, does it have to be that dude, or does it be anybody that ends up around you within 2 strides?
Got to be the leader.
It's got to be the leader. Okay.
The leader's got to get there, and then everybody else can jump in. But the leader can't get there. So because the leader can't get there, I'm going to have to do something else, which in this case as we have seen, is my favorite thing. Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens, moving up and shooting him in his stupid orc face. So, 1. And then I'm going to come right up to the edge of the fence right here. And then now I'm going to shoot him right in his stupid orc face. And hopefully this will work out. So it's an orange. And you will be receiving your normal compliment. And I get 2 hits plus a switch. The switch is the hollow, so I get 3 total hits.
So I will lose another person, which now that's going to be an interesting, because I had 1 wound on me, 3 hits coming in. I put 3 hits total.
3 hits total.
And I rolled no defenses. I lose 2 guys. So this is a less than exciting way to play it, but you're learning.
We never do range. And the first time we played, we said range was terrible. And I want our viewers at home to know that range can be good.
Let's also say, as long as you don't have Gaming Greg rolling dice, because the green die here has solid dice, solid shields on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces on an 8-sided, and I have not rolled a single green solid.
Yeah.
And the black dice, it's on 2, is less good. 1, 2. Yeah, the black dice only have solid shields on 2 sides, it would appear. They have a really nice breakdown of the dice.
But that green die should be paying off for you.
One would think, but apparently not.
No.
So right now, my unit is now worthless. I shouldn't say worthless, but the trick is when you do take damage, you do have 2 different things. So you have your unit at a certain number, in which case this is how it operates when it has 3 plus members in the unit, and then it has a stat line for when it has just 2 plus members in the unit. I am now at 2 plus, so they lose if I'm at 3 plus. Normally, when I would attack, I have a red, an orange, an orange, an orange, and a yellow. So really dangerous when I attack, and I get switches on 2 solids, which would give the vulnerable state. Instead, now I get a red, orange, and orange, but the bonus is I do get a switch on 1 solid. So not doing so well right now. All right.
So that's 3 or more, and then 2 or fewer, huh?
2 or fewer on that particular unit. Correct.
All right. Well then, my Hetman has done his duty.
He has. All right. So then, now does this barrier impede me from moving?
This is a very good question among my people. I don't think it really truly does. I think that terrain. You know what? I'm almost thinking we might want to pause the video for just 1 second while I check this out. I'll come right back.
All right, we'll be back in just a second while we take a look at the rules. Okay, so we're back, and what we've discovered is things like a fence. Unless a piece of terrain says it's impassable, you could pass over it without any penalty. If it's rugged, like a patch of forest or something like that, there is a penalty to the movement. But in this case, the fence is not impassable, so therefore, and it's not rugged, so therefore it doesn't reduce my movement, nor does it keep me from going over it with any penalty. So, with that being said, for my turn 3, round 2, turn 3, whatever we want to call it, I'm going to activate the Wise Mane.
And,
we gotta get something here, so I'm going to go up against the impossible Hetman.
Oh.
So we are going to charge, which is a long action. So he goes, what?
Goes in a straight line.
So the big thing with this is I have to be able to clear that fence, which I clear. Actually, I have another full step I could go if I wanted to get there. So I am groovy right there on the Hetman. So now we are engaged in combat. So one of the bonuses that charging does, in addition to giving you a lot more distance that you can move, is I could re-roll the attack if I want to. So what does the Wise Mane do in attack? Well, he is not a brawler because he is an old man, but he's no slouch. So he gets a red die, he gets an orange die, and another orange die, and a yellow die. So pretty decent, but not great. Now, something I can do is I can stress and get some added abilities. In this case, if I stress, I could add another red die and I get an automatic. We're going to use this just for fun. I get an automatic solid exclamation point, which could be used possibly for one of my switches.
Oh,
which I do have a switch. All right. But in order to be able to get that special bonus, I have to stress, and I only have a morale of 1. But in this case, I think I need to because I'm kind of desperate right now. So we're going to throw a stress down. We're going to get that extra red die. We have the extra solid. Your defense, sir, is
a single blue die. However, I can stress to give myself an additional shield. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to stress, and I'm going to have
so you
one
automatically
shield.
Get 1 shield. So we're going to take this die over here. Here.
Yeah.
I'll give you 1 right there. All right, here we go. I did not do as well as I would like. I got 4 hits, and I have several solid exclamation points. And you have only 1 defense. Actually, I'm going to take that. That's pretty good. I thought about re-rolling my charge, but the trick with the re-roll of the charge is I have to re-roll all the dice, not just some dice, and I don't want to do that.
And here's the sad thing. I would love for the Hetman to be able to use his ability here. If he were elite, I could turn that hollow into a normal shield.
Oh, wait,
but I am not elite.
And I am not elite. I'm not elite on him. The Wrathmane is elite, and he does have raging, which we've learned does
it's a thing.
Things. So I do a total of 4 hits. He has 1 defense. So before we apply damage, I am going to use those 2 solid exclamation points to do a switch, which now you are vulnerable.
No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because I'm dead.
You only have 3 wounds?
Hetmen are humans, and humans are squishy.
Really?
Blah!
That was unexpected.
You came flying in.
You were very vulnerable because you're dead.
Because you're dead. Yeah. You came over, you clubbed him over the head, and that's the end.
I decided to use, as I watched you just peppering away my poor orc hunters, I decided to use violence.
That's it. You chose violence.
All right, and so that would be the Wise Mane's activation. Now, I did end up with a stress from that, which could come back to haunt me in a little bit. However, that is the end of turn 3. And as we note on our little Wheel of Fortune or Time...
Wheel of Doom!
We have an event that happens, which is going to be really fun because I could possibly double up on those tokens.
Well, you could only have 1 token of any type.
Oh, thank
So there's
goodness.
nothing that can happen to you.
Nothing.
You don't even need to roll, honestly.
I do need to roll for him.
Oh, you need to roll for him. And I have to roll for them.
So go ahead and
not for
let
them,
you
but for
roll.
them.
Yeah, roll for
So
him.
he's fine.
So he's fine. And then this guy here, he's fine too.
Yeah, and I think if you would ever gain a second token of a kind, you just don't gain the token. Maybe gain a stress.
I don't know.
Maybe get 7 stress.
I'm stressed about it.
As am I. Okay. Those are not those. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you don't. You can only have 1 of a time. So that's it. Yeah, you don't place a new one. So there we go.
All right. So then it goes over. So now we go to. This goes now to turn 5. This goes to turn 4, and it is still your round.
All right.
So you get to activate.
Well,
something.
you know I'm going to charge you now, especially since you are within 4 of the leader.
Sense.
So the leader says, "Oh, really, old man? Well, let's just see if this works out." So.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, I can't stress. Oh, I can stress again, can't I? Oh, no, I can't. So one of the things you can't do is you can't stress yourself above your morale. So I only have 1 morale. I can't stress again because my defense does have an ability that I could use, but unfortunately, I can't. Yep. All right, so...
The Bucklermen have decided to come and have a conversation with you.
So
You have refused to buy Amway products. Oh, by the way, folks, buy a second set of dice. Like all dice games that use proprietary dice, buy a second set.
So I have a blue die for my defense, a blue and a black die for defense. This is not looking good. Now, if I had any hits on this, they would apply against his Bucklerman, but yeah. All right, here we go. I have, shockingly, I've rolled one defense.
2.
2, all right. Do you have any switches that allow you to add an extra wound?
I can add extra shields. You have switches. What are your switches do? I think
nothing for defense.
So I could do 2 wounds to you, or I could go for broke. You know me to be a gambling man. And the gamble has paid off.
Gamble has paid off. The wise man is now dead. All right. Well, that was unfortunate. So that was the completion of his turn 4. So now I'm going to activate somebody on turn 4, and that is going to be finally the Wrathmane. The Wrathmane immediately. Once during he uses his special command ability, the Wrath Roar. Once during your activation, I could do this, and oh, not yet. So I gotta wait. So first, it's gonna be coming. So I might not be in range. So I'm gonna move 3 to here.
So you got Shemp. You don't get the second. You don't get your second 3.
Yeah, I do.
Why? Oh, you're slowed, right?
That was my first activation.
Oh, are you going to take a double move?
Double move.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gaming Greg. I have I've offended your Shaolin Temple.
So now that gets rid of that.
It does.
And then I don't think I'm within 10 of anything. No, you are lucky, so I will not Wrath Roar quite yet. All right, that is all he could do, but at least he gets rid of the cold. The cold. Which now, thankfully, brings us to the end of round 2.
It does.
Now we would remove stress. Well, I would remove stress off my wise mane, but he's dead. Which is really not very stressful. We don't take stress for being shot.
Correct.
So I'm wondering why I don't have stress on my Orc Hunters, but I only have 1 Orc Hunter.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have. Now initiative goes to me. We go to last round, and we are on turn that, and I cannot reach you in time. This is very unfortunate because I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything here. Except? If you're going to go out, you go out. Oh, but then you'll want to get that, and then you'll automatically. If you're going to go out, you're going to go out in a blaze of glory. He's going to. He could charge 10.
So 6.
Plenty.
Oh, yeah, he'll get there.
Actually, I'll go for that guy. He's definitely within 6.
Nope, that works.
Which will just plop him right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Then here he goes.
All right.
So he goes right there. That gets rid of that. Should I live? All right, I get. Now that I'm wounded, I only get 1 red and 2 oranges. Which is like what I would normally have when I coach soccer.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have 2 hits. You have 4 because you get because your switches. Well, you know what? I charged. There's no reason not to.
That's right. You can go for broke. You're broke.
No, I'm not.
What?
So I don't do any damage.
Okay.
But the important thing is, I put the vulnerable state on you because I'm going to use my switches, and I only need 1 of these to put the vulnerable state on you.
The vulnerable state. There we go.
I'm prepping because you still have to get to here.
I do.
And you have to do it. So now let's run over combat. Now I didn't do any more damage than you did, and I don't take any more damage. So I don't get any stress. You don't get any stress. Do you get pushed back?
No.
No. Okay, no. So we're left engaged.
We just hang out right here.
Which means you can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. Doesn't mean my honcho there can't go anywhere. It just means I can't go anywhere.
He could totally go wherever he wants. Bring that war surgeon this way.
Yep. But I think my guys are going to smack him and see if they can just kill him. So 1 red, 3 orange, and it's just, it is what it is. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, here we go. I got 1.
3.
That's what I need is 2.
So he has died. All right. And that was my attack.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could, in fact, move if I so chose.
Yes, you did.
And I will. Wow, I'm already vulnerable.
Don't have a choice. You got to get that point.
I mean...
Otherwise, I'm going to have 2 points, and you'll just have 1.
think...
The bonus is I can't get that last one.
Yeah. So, well, it's going to be from the center guy. So 3. So it's about the edge of this right here. And then 3.
They move 3/3. Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty fast to get up to about right here and here. I'll take that with them. All right.
Well, that's it's my other activation, so I don't need this last act. So no, actually, stop that. Event for turn 5.
Event for turn 5.
So the last of the winter storms.
I'm okay.
Which is okay. That guy?
And I'm not okay.
Oh, that's all right.
So he's still hanging out. He has just been hanging out all during back here. So
and
whatever.
then I got this guy here. It's really not going to matter much. 2. Oh, he's golden. He's raring for this.
A lot of willpower. Okay.
So, a couple things really quick. Keywords that are for the Wrathbane. He has Elite. And he has Raging. What do those do?
Well, Elite.
I know Raging allows me to... I think I get an automatic star.
Raging? Your unit adds an automatic star to its attack rolls when it charges.
Oh, we're going to be charging,
when
so
it
that's
charges. A bonus. And then your Elite allows you to turn hollows into solids after the add switches step.
Okay. Well, which would help for other things, but it's not going to be that big a deal. All right, so I'll apologize. I'm going to get the coughs here in a second. So the Wrathbane is going to charge. However, before he does that, once during his activation, he is going to give the frightened and disarmed condition to this poor unit that's already vulnerable.
And you're doing that by using a command point?
Yes.
Oh.
His Wrath Roar, because you're within 10. Then he will charge. He's going to go right for that leader.
All right.
You guys can pile in all
circle up the wagons. Okay, those are my 3 tokens.
All right. Now, I could only get 1 stun, right? I can't spend 2 stun to get multiple effects for my thing, right?
Right. I can only have 1 of the...
So I get 2 red dice. Awesome. 1 orange, 1 yellow. Then I am going to stun myself once.
Oh, stress.
So stress myself. I'm sorry. Stress myself. First things first, because I'm raging, I will get an automatic hit.
You will.
And then because I stressed, I'm going to get... I'm hoping... Oh, come on. Tell me you got this.
Orange, red, and yellow. We'll have hits.
I'm looking for one that has a hollow and a solid. Oh, I got it. Right here. So I have those.
All right.
That I could use to do my switches. So here we go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, indeed. So because you're vulnerable, I get to choose, and he has multiple dice, not that it really matters, I get to remove the one that has that has a shield on, a solid shield on it.
Right.
Since there's only one that has a solid shield, I'm going to get rid of those 2 shields.
So this goes away
now,
but with a cost.
You're going to do your switches.
I have a solid exclamation, which is used to give me 1 shield.
1 shield. I have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going 6. I can use my switches allow me to take my, plus the elite set, I could do this too. I could take my hollow and turn it into solids. So I'm going to do that. So I will have 2 more hits. So I have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8 hits. I do not have any hollow exclamations, so I cannot put the vulnerable state back on you. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So I kill all 4. 1, so
7.
So one guy's left with a wound on him.
Yep. And now...
And you get a stress.
I get stressed for losing. And now I will flee my movement.
Do you flee?
I do. I will flee my movement back.
Oh, that's right, because
away
I
from
won the
you.
combat.
Yep. So I am going to the edge of that little corner right there.
Perfect. Now, I could follow if I want.
You could.
There's no particular reason why. I don't know if you're going to get that point or not. I am going to follow because I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ends my activation for the Wrathmane. Wow, when he really hits.
Yeah, he does. He
came up. He chose violence today.
He chose violence. He hurt me good.
So that is the end of turn. Oh, we already did the turn. Did we do turn 5? No, was that turn 5? No, I did it. So now it's over to you.
Yeah, my turn 5. Yep.
Your turn 5.
And this will be the end of it, right?
And then we go to 6. So.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh,
6
yeah.
will be the last. So I'll get one more activation. So.
I was like, these guys will countercharge. No, these guys will
they
go to Valhalla.
Or wherever
hegemony
guys go. I think they go to the great Merrill Lynch in the sky.
That's
it. They ride the bull market.
Now you don't have. That's right. And you have 5 wounds that you can take with that guy.
I do have 5 wounds. That is correct, sir.
All right. So does it make sense to run past you?
With who?
With the plague.
He could only
the war surgeon.
He could only do 3/3.
He can only do. Yeah, he's cold. It's terrible.
3, or is he 2? Oh, he's a 3/3 movement. So yeah, he can't. I mean, he's not going to get very far. He'll get to the fence.
All right, let's see here. I mean, he is a good doctor, but and I've already got 1 stress on me, and I cannot take more stress in order to activate again because my morale is only 1.
That is correct.
So, wow, this is I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
For all my bitching about being shot, things have subtly changed.
They worked out nicely. Well, we know who has the biggest gubbins. All right, so he moves up 3. He is now. Is he within 5 of him? No, he's shy.
So he can move 3 again.
He could move 3 again.
Yeah. Either way, you're not going to get your war surgeon ability off.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to do, but I'm going to go 3. Yeah,
you just can't go on the fence. You'll be in front of the fence.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
So I need to get 1 wound on you.
Left.
I was hoping I would have put another vulnerable on you by getting 1 hollow,
but
I didn't.
So
so I am gonna. So now we go into 6.
Yep.
How do you have?
What's that?
He's free. No, you don't have an activation on him. Because you.
Was that?
Yeah, that was.
I should have taken it last turn.
Do you want to do that different now?
If he didn't have an activation on him, I guess smacking you probably isn't a terrible idea.
It's not.
All right, yeah, let's do that. So I'll move him back there.
Just remember, I will kill you.
I know.
Because
I know it's coming. But I got to put some wounds on you, otherwise I'm dead anyway.
So, all right, here's what we're going to do. So I will stress, which means I won't be able to activate again.
Right.
But it gives me, so my defense dice are 2 blues, hooray, 1 black, 1 red, and I get an automatic filled star.
Yep.
So I'll be doing 1 wound.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3.
I block 3.
Well, that's unfortunate. And you are hitting me back.
More importantly, you are disarmed. So we will get rid of...
Oh, so I'm not even doing 3.
Yep.
Oh, I rolled the wrong dice for that anyway. So that's fine.
Roll?
I should have rolled... the red doesn't get rolled.
Oh, what do you roll?
I rolled 2 orange and 2 yellows. Because
because
I have less guys. But it doesn't matter. You blocked everything anyway, so you blocked everything anyway. And none of the switches would have triggered, so it's fine.
Do you have anything that gives you defense on offense?
I have dead, is what I have.
So he dies. All
yeah,
right.
and these tokens will go with him. All right.
And then, all right, so that would have been, now we go and do the wins. He still has his winter thing on him, so he doesn't have to roll. He's screwed.
Yeah, he's screwed.
I'll do me, but I don't get to go again because I'm at full stress. Man, I'd be fine anyway.
You're fine anyway.
Because I gotta, All right, so.
Yep.
Now it goes over, so that goes away because we're not doing this because it's the last, and this is the last turn around. I get to go. I can't stress to go again.
Yep.
But I could still remove a stress.
You could take a rest action. The rest action's a long action, and it removes you the amount of stress you have down to several.
Down to several.
It's less than 1,000, but more than maybe more than one. Let's see here. The rest action on page. I'm gonna have to make a little index for this too. They do have a little cheat sheet, but I'm gonna make one that's a little bit better, I think. The rest action, when your unit performs this action, you can use as many of the following options as you like. Eliminate all of the unit stress. Remove any state from your profile. Perform a move using only your second move value. If you've already been activated during this round, your unit does not become stressed by performing this action.
I will use it to rest and get rid of all of my stress. Not that it matters much.
Would have been my only hope. Had you not chosen to do that, and I successfully won the combat, I could have pushed you into a situation where you couldn't do anything. So now I have no choice. I have to charge you. Which
I don't think you have the distance. Because you're down 4.
I'm down. Oh yeah, I'm down 4 because I'm slowed. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of anything. I mean, I can
contest this one.
Right.
And I can't gain that one because I can't move.
Yep. So that's where we wind up this game.
All right. So
right there.
At the end of the game, it's down to the War Surgeon and a fully healthy, fully functional Wrathmane with 1 command point left.
Wow!
Yeah, he doesn't even need any stress. He's just going to book out of there.
That's right. Doctors Without Borders. Gone.
So for scenario points, I did control this. I did control this one over here. I just forgot to put the point on it because at the end of
it was one of the
before
rounds.
I went bananas and started killing everything.
Yeah.
I had control of that. So I have one of mine, and I have the magical point. So I have my military, but I don't have both.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure out what the win conditions are on that and talk a little about that more, probably in the comments. I know that sounds a little weird, but the long and the short of it is, we forgot. We basically lost the the sheet that tells us what the win conditions are, but we'll talk about that. I'll post something on that in a little bit. Long and the short of it is, I think I won.
You did win. No, you totally won. I'll tell you what you did. If you had captured both of these, you would have had a strategic victory.
Yes.
Because you've only captured one, you're going to get 1 military point.
No, I get the magic point.
Oh, well, also,
and I get 1 military point.
Yeah, because you've captured the one.
Instead of 2 military points, I get 1 military
That's right.
point.
And you're going to
you get 1 military
point. And you're going to get the arcane point. The arcane point is going to give you a piece of a broken vase.
Yes.
And that broken vase will allow you to do maybe some interesting things in the next scenario.
Which we'll be taping in the near future. So we're going to wrap up here real quick, and we'll come back and we're going to talk a little bit about our thoughts on this first match and everything else. So hang out, and we'll be back in just a second.
The party of orcs returns to their camp, and the wise mane shows what they have found to the evoker. She handles the object carefully, skeptical. She's never seen anything like it. As she touches it, her fingers transmit information unreachable to the others. Within that vase dwells a powerful spirit, the essence of an entity as ancient as the world itself. The 2 parts of it fit together perfectly, so the evoker joins them. It is better not to tempt the hidden forces at play here. The evoker immediately notices that there is a magical force contained in the broken vase. After spending some time examining it, she informs Alboric that this object is the key that will open the door to victory for the tribes of the north. Help is always welcome, even if it is supernatural in nature.
All right, well, that was
Bloody.
That was Warcrow Scenario 1 from the 2-player starter set. Winds of the North.
Oh, the winds came from the north, all right.
The winds came from the north. So, some quick thoughts about gameplay. One, again, keep in mind, we've played this scenario now. I think this is our third go-through on this. Yeah. And each time we've had something different happen. The very last one that we played prior to this one, the hegemony got the magical victory, and I had the strategic because I control both military points. Don't ask how that happened; it just happened. Long and short of it is, I drove through and I lost my leader in both things, but my unit did a hell of a lot better in the second game than it did this one. This one, we saw how if you don't have very good dice in defense, how range is going to pick you to pieces, which did a really big number on my guy. But we then learned the worth of the Wrathbane.
Raging is a thing!
Raging is a thing.
Raging
We've
is
forgotten.
a thing.
Excuse me. Ooh, I apologize for that.
I'm a doctor, folks. Don't worry. He's not dying.
And he's not doing anything under the table. No. And there went our...
demonetized. We're done. We're done.
Anyway, we weren't playing with the Raging rule. We weren't playing with the Elite rule. The Elite rule was a little less important, especially for my...
It's going to be next one.
It will be a little more important for the next one. Because I don't have as many things that I do. I want to use the... For hits, at least on... he becomes Alboric, the named orc. I want him... He can already use hollow stars to turn him into blood.
So being elite does nothing.
So it's not really... It's useful, but not really that big. Now, I wonder if being elite, when I do that in defense, if that also is the case. In which case, then that's huge.
I mean, yeah.
Then that would be very important.
Oh, does he have a hollow...
Well, remember, I get to roll red dice and yellow dice in my defense.
I hate him.
So he's gonna, if you're gonna probably just shoot him to death, which is the best battle plan for that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what are your experiences with the hegemony playing about 3 games?
Oh, I like them. I think they have a really cool aesthetic to them. Besides the whole, we're just gonna do shield wall kind of thing.
The Bucklermen are huge.
They excel with the addition of the War Surgeon unit attachment. So when you take the War Surgeon, I had him off separately because I wanted just to see what I could do. But if I actually had put him into the unit, what would have happened is when the unit he's with takes combat damage, he's patching guys up on the field as the wounds are happening. So, I take 3 damage. I think I have to roll his willpower, and then for every success I get, it cancels a wound.
Yes.
And if I've still got the Hetman alive, then I can use his willpower instead of my willpower, and then so now I'm using 2 orange dice. There's a whole bunch of shenanigans. They're a nice synergy army. The orcs, while they definitely benefit from synergy, are really good standalones. I think that they can just get in there. If they get the charge, they're gonna put a hurt on you.
I think so in my experience of playing this one and the second scenario, we haven't quite gotten to the third scenario yet. But my experience in playing the orcs, I like them. I love them aesthetically. I have a tendency to go towards glass cannon, and I'm using the glass cannon terminology a little loosely here because we don't know what the Varniks do. But I like the glass cannon, hit hard, do a lot of damage, and you got to be careful with it. The orc hunters, again, when they're the full unit and you get that charge off, they're great. The Wisemane, he's pretty good too. I probably would actually throw him in with the unit. It does a couple things. One of the things that we didn't get into because it didn't happen is if you have 2 units within 3 inches of an objective point, what you then go to is you see what is it a command value?
I think it's like a command value.
Yeah, they have a certain kind of basically they have a value that unit is worth things, and that's what the value of units are in Warcrow. From what I could tell right now, is units have these values which allow you to get a leg up when controlling a zone. So if I have a unit there, you have a unit there, then we look at their value. The hegemony straight out of the box, if they're at full strength, have a value of 2. My orcs at full strength have a value of 1. My orcs, when they're down to 2, still have a value of 1. But they have 1. The only way I could get them up to 2, which would negate each other, is if I put the wise main in with them. Mm-hmm. Also, if I could put the war main in too, but I would probably put the wise main in. He adds a couple abilities to them, and he gets more bonuses. He gets a couple command abilities when he's actually linked with the unit.
Yep.
But in this case, I used him. He came through like a stud by taking out the Hetman. That took me by surprise, to be perfectly honest. I had good hit rolls there, whereas my defense rolls up until my Wrathmane got hit at the end were not terribly great. So leaders hit like a ton of bricks. I love the Wrathmane. He's cheap. He's effective. His command ability is awesome. And the only downside on him is his defense is weak. But that is a general thing for pretty much the entire orc faction that's in the box set.
Yep.
The best defense right now out of them is the green and 2 blacks that you get on a hunter unit, because the green die is a really good defense die. The black ones are not that great. Blue is medium to okay. I got a few more. What the orcs are trying to do is apply damage to you while you're on the defense, because typically you're not throwing a defense die when you're on the attack. So what things bug me about the orcs? Again, I love them aesthetically. I like the play style. I do get a little grouchy because if they don't hit when they're going up against bucklermen, and bucklermen are exchanging, is it 2 solid exclamations to get another shield?
Yep, and they're rolling 2 greens and a black.
So 2 greens and a black, and the blacks do have a lot. The black dice do have a lot of solid exclamation points. So if the green die, let's say you get 1 or 2 shields on it, which 2 shields is a possibility on it, and I roll on the other black dice, I roll a shield and a solid and a shield and a solid. That's 4 shields. And God forbid the War Surgeon is in on that, because the War Surgeon has the ability to negate 2 additional wounds before I start applying my shields. So that's a real tough hill to climb. The orcs, what they really rely on, again, in the box set, and I'll explain what I mean by in the box set in just a minute, is they rely on getting vulnerable on you. The Wrathmane is awesome because if he activates and he puts on a unit within 10 can become frightened, which means if they're successful on their roll to do a willpower check, they have to re-roll it again. So in this case, it could be frozen, or if they need to make a check, a morale check to avoid fleeing, and they make it, they're going to fail it, and then they get to roll again. So it helps out there. The disarmed is huge because if the orcs come in and hit and put the vulnerable on, the vulnerable doesn't kick in until the next attack hits. It doesn't take effect on the attack that just was landed. So if I hit you on turn 1, I hit you, I don't get to remove anything, and I put the vulnerable state on you. I don't get that advantage until another unit or the same unit hits you in turn 2. So I may be taking a counterpunch. And again, the orcs are very iffy on their defense. So by the Wrathmane throwing out with his Wrath Roar, it's not real easy to say that. By throwing out Frightened and Disarmed, I have a better chance of surviving to be able to hit you harder. So the orcs are a little more synergistic than I'm used to. And it does take some setup for them. The next scenario, and this is why I'll say, this is where you have to remember you are limited with what the model set you have right now. In the next scenario that we'll be doing in the next episode, we get to take our baseline heroes, both for the hegemony and for the orcs, and they become named heroes. The named hero, in my case, does a lot of stuff when you add in different units that are currently not available. And so he does have one thing that really is kind of cool. but he loses a little bit in return, and it's a little bit frustrating. But otherwise, you just have to remember that you're going to get some other cool units. You'll be able to get full usage out of him. It just got to get over that hump. And again, it could just be, I just was rolling shitty dice on my defense rolls.
You didn't even mention the best part.
What did I forget?
Spellcasters.
Spellcasters.
Next one we get spellcasters.
Spellcasters. That is true.
It's going to be so good.
Yep. So we're looking forward to doing that. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this particular scenario. If we got anything wrong with the rules, if you've already seen the rules or just have read through the rules and think that we got something wrong, throw it in the comments. Let us know. Much like we do at Bushido, we learn a lot by playing, and hopefully not only do we learn, but we teach you and our other viewers some more about the game. If you did enjoy the game, again, we said it before, we'll say it again, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. Subscribing helps us out immensely. We really, really do appreciate that. We're currently pushing towards 500 viewers. We're dating ourselves on this one. Or 500 subscribers. So hopefully we get there. I would love to be able to say we get there by the end of the summer, but I'm going to be realistic and say we get there by the end of the year.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
At Gen Con, we'll do some promotion. But I also want to say this. If you like the content, let Corvus Belli know that you liked the content that you saw here. Right? Because this way they'll feel more comfortable making us maybe, buy it less, and then actually, just send us some stuff early so this way I can get it painted and ready to go, and we can play and teach you and show you and be on the ground floor of this game because we're all together
all
on
the
this.
Cool stuff that's coming out for Warcrow in the future. We're excited. I'm excited about this. Dr. Dice is excited about this. I was always kind of a fan of Infinity, but it always intimidated me a little bit. Warcrow, at least right now, doesn't seem quite as intimidating, and it may be because I'm getting on the ground floor. I also like the fantasy aesthetic. I'm looking for, I have Bushido, which is a feudal Japanese kind of fantasy thing, but I'm looking always for something new, and this one is appealing to me. And we've got other factions that'll be coming down the line. Hopefully, you've probably seen some other creators talking about it. We've got the Savannah, the Elves, we've got the Dwarves, we've got Hegemony, we've got the Orcs, we've got the Feudum, which that might be another faction that I'm interested in.
The Feudum are very cool looking. The Scions of Yaboleth, that's the one I'm really psyched about.
Mutates and Demons.
Mutates and Demons. Everyone loves Mutates and Demons. How could you not love Mutates and Demons? If you love Mutates and Demons, mention it in the comments.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this. Dr. Dice, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Glad you're able to join us in beautiful Man Cave Studio. And we will be doing more of this content in the future, so hopefully you will enjoy watching Warcrow as much as we like doing it. And don't worry, we'll still be doing our Bushido content. That is never going away anytime soon. So, thank you. He loves his Ryu crit strike list. So, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a great day or evening, wherever you may be. So long.